Hey YouTube.com, I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and this is my sketchy friend Rob. And we're gonna have I think we're gonna have more friends with us tonight, but they haven't jumped on yet. But I figured we would just kind of get started a little bit earlier because I saw that some of you were already waiting in the chat, and so I figured we would get in and start like just kind of talking about like our general impressions, and then when our friends come, we'll ask them too the same questions that we had, or the same questions that we answered essentially. But yeah, so like um up front, I'm gonna say there were a couple of like big revelations in there, and like that was fun. And Bespin says that Mapuzo is wet. I thought Mapuzo was prickly, more prickly than I thought.
When Kenobi says Mapuzo, bro, I can't not chuckle.
Um,
Mapuzo. We need to isolate that audio.
one good thing I wanted to throw out there was the fact that they used a different exterior location for Mapuzo for the city itself, made it not look like the El Segundo location, which I did actually appreciate. It did feel like it was someplace different, actually being someplace different. Surprisingly, it could have been probably done the same, but it did feel different, and I thought that was kind of nice. But Obi-Wan has a brother. Let's really quickly, let's just talk about like that real quick. That's just like a such a random like interesting thing to like learn from the episode because it has like further story implications or possibilities when people ask what could the sequel be about. Well, right there, like we see things opening up that could actually play into sequels. There could be angles to that. Obi-Wan remembering his family and stuff like that. They maybe the brother comes and looks for him. You know what I mean? Stuff there's interesting potential there. So is all I'm saying. It might be nothing. It might be something that we learn now, and 10 years from now, we're like, remember when they had a brother? What was the point of that? You know what I mean? It might it
The
might
24
might be the
part
case.
Marvel series is coming next year.
Yeah, yeah, they'll probably
Kenobi
ruin it.
Quest. Yes.
Yeah. How's it going? My
Family
name
ties.
my name is Ted Kenobi. I do the drywall over here, and my brother is Obi-Wan Kenobi. I never knew the fucker, but he seemed cool.
I keep the bodies in trunks. No, no, Ted, don't do
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
But yeah, so overall, I thought the story thought I was into the episode like as a story. I thought there was some powerful moments. I think like Leia asking Obi-Wan if that's her father. Like I thought that was like kind of interesting and how they got into the conversation of family. I thought it was a really good moment. I thought that Vivian Laird Blair, who plays Leia, did a really good job in this one. And I'm even gonna throw out there when she ran in this episode, it was kind of cute, as opposed to being like, "What the fuck?" Like in the other episode, I was like, "Come on, get on with it." Which I was like, "Ha, look at her go." But yeah, but the we I think we are both on the same page here that the camera work. I don't want to say it's the camera work, but the direction, the shots, the framing of them, not not great. Not very good, actually. Um,
No.
like the story a lot. Not wasn't crazy about a lot of the ways that Darth Vader was shot, to be honest with you. Um, and I was hoping like there were in terms of like the duel itself, there were like elements of it that I really like. I actually thought the blue light on Kenobi, like when he's like looking, like for Vader, and like he can't see and it's dark and the lightsaber is actually too bright in the thing. Like I thought that was like pretty rad. I actually like that element of it. It was a bit frightening, but at the same time, Darth Vader felt like Darth Vader kind of walked up and didn't know what to do. Like there was a lot of like there wasn't really a lot of like him actually there was no choreography. They really need to they need to get what's his name back.
Or anybody that does this. There's John Wick. There's so many. They had whoever they had on Boba Fett episode 2 on the train sequence. Like I just or in episode I don't know they use a dark saber pretty effectively in episode 6.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm looking at it like it's very fan filmish on some parts.
Tell them what you told me about Vader's lair, Vader's throne, because I think that
All
was
right,
very spot
so
on.
first, let me say
Th-
exterior
The
wise, the
bunny.
Mustafar shot, yeah, the exterior wise, the Mustafar shot is fantastic. Like, love it. However, every shot of Vader is very Energizer Bunny commercial. It's just it's cropped in a way where like I'm staring at his beer belly or something. Like it's like right up on him, and like the backgrounds are very compressed and flat. And there's just like when he's becoming Vader and the pieces, the frames feel sped up. Like there's a lot of
Mm.
weird.
I didn't
There's a
mind
lot of
that.
weird.
That stuff I liked.
Yeah,
It was once we got to following Vader around that I
but
thought, yeah.
but the every shot where he's on his throne doesn't match the concept art we saw like around Disney Plus Day. Remember that video?
Uh-huh.
That 1 minute snippet of 15 minutes, which I don't think we've seen the other 15 minutes of.
Yeah.
You know, like I just there's just compositionally there's just some really odd choices, you know, with this series and corny, you know, kind of like is the word that comes to me, you know, like you know when you get like a Tim Burton Batman film and then you get the OnStar commercial. like I'm being, it may sound like I'm being mean, folks, but like I'm sorry, like I'm just not getting a cinematic approach. It feels it's the TV show side. And it
Yeah.
would be one thing if I haven't seen some amazing Star Wars TV shots. You know, there's some amazing
Mhm.
stuff done on the Mando that I was like the Luke coming in with the saber, fighting all those dark troopers, all that was done extremely well. So I'm just, I don't know what it is. I don't know. You know, art hits people 50-50. I know, you know, and sometimes an art just this art isn't my kind of art, I guess, you know.
No,
This
no,
would
no.
be
It was definitely not shot with the very dramatically a lot of the time. Like the opening stuff. I mean, like I also like while I liked all of excuse me. While I liked all of the scenes with the like truck that picks them up and the driver and like the back and forth and that kind of thing. Um it was so on the nose that it was like the old beat up pickup truck that picks them up. It wasn't like it was just it felt like I was watching a depression era show or something all of a sudden. And yeah, that's the I liked it, but like I said, it was a little too on the nose. But it was well
the
done though. That stuff
alien
was
basic stuff. I was
mhm,
like, just give him an alien voice, like
mhm.
just you know when he's like, "How you doing?" It's Obi. Like, I'm like, if I can do the voice, I feel like probably should have just gone with an
Yeah, I think
alien
that was
language,
Zach
you know?
Braff. Um
Yeah,
and and it was James Earl Jones, as Eric
yeah.
pointed out. I had to fight with the credits on the app. Every time I would get to a point, it would like kick me in the Phantom Menace. Kieran says this was meh. I'm not disliking this series, but definitely not as hyper for next week as I should be. And then his Mapuzo's wet, his Mapuzo burns. Might need
When
to
he
see a
says
doctor.
Mapuzo, I just can't stop laughing. I was like,
Yeah,
and it's not them. It's just because we had that conversation. It's just funny.
yeah,
Mapuzo. Oh,
yeah. And it was nice that we got the Quinlan Voss reference. You know that whole thing, and that the Underground Railroad kind of thing was being set up here, which was cool. The fight went about how I expected with Ben, mostly on the defensive and not getting his shit wrecked. But I really thought he would make an emotional appeal to Anakin. Yeah, I thought that was going to happen. I thought that was going to be more there too. Personally, I thought that would be like I thought like in the first one when he was scared would be when he would be more like trying to appeal to the person. It was kind of cool when we see that like vision of Anakin out there that was just like a Jedi like version of Anakin out there too, because like he doesn't really know what he looks like yet, you know. And but James is
yeah.
here. So James, what did you think, man?
Man, um, I mean, part of it is just the fact that I actually thought this show was going to be great. I thought this was such an easy win for Lucasfilm that I had much higher hopes. So I can't say it's not like Book of Boba Fett where it's bad. It's
Yeah, it's
bad.
not that it's not that.
No, not even close.
Because the, like, story is still good.
Yeah. But part of it is like, and I'm okay with like the kind of like the quote unquote retcon with, having Obi-Wan and Vader have the fight when everybody's like, oh, well, that's breaking canon. If you do it and it works, great.
Mhm.
But it's when it doesn't work, it comes off as very much fan filmy kind of thing, you know. Yeah. And part of the whole thing, yeah, I kind of compare it to like, in like retail, you have what they call an entry point into a brand. So like take Mercedes or someone like that. They will have the lowest price point that you can get into one of their vehicles at, and that is the price for entry into the brand. And everybody's got it, whether it's Michael Kors or anybody. Um, the brand entry for Star Wars used to be a feature film, and a feature film every 3 years,
Mhm.
and now it's kind of just schmaltzy sci-fi stuff. Even like Mapuzo, man, did they need to
What
put a
about it?
did they need to
Oh, the
put they
planet.
yeah, yeah, we're gonna make a lot of jokes in this one, but they need a LUT to put on that thing. They need to like put some kind of filter on that planet. It just looks like like I said, it looks like a fan film. And I know they spent a lot of time and money on these shows relative to TV, but it's so hard. It's making Star Wars look like Star Trek now at this
Yeah.
point.
Beston
So
said didn't like the fight location. It looked like a construction yard. Yeah, that's
right,
kind of what it was.
yeah,
If you remember back in the day, I was like, there was these like piles of like dirt.
yeah,
I don't know what is like the moon. I don't understand what it is, you know?
yeah,
And it was because it was literally a construction yard,
yeah.
a mine.
I could
Yeah,
literally film that down the street. I mean,
I was telling Jason it feels to me like, again, like there's an idea, but there's no sequence. There's no like, how is this a special, like, I don't know, an interesting place. If it's not going to be an interesting place, then the interesting part needs to come through the dynamics between him and Obi-Wan, but there's not much being said. Like, we're
Yeah.
bringing a lot to that moment based on our knowledge of the previous events, but
mhm.
those two people, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to fight my butt. I'm like, what the fuck? Something. I mean, anything that, I
It
just thought a
was
couple.
it was super weak. It was super weak when they're like dialogue to each other. They had nothing to say to each other in the actual like encounter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a wasted opportunity. I mean, it's like if you're gonna go there and you're not gonna do anything meaningful with it, then don't. I mean, I was like I said, I was totally fine on board. Okay, fine, whatever. They had a fight before New Hope, but this is a waste of an opportunity, and you can't do it
Yeah.
again. I mean, well, obviously they do in the show. I mean, we know that, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So this is the easiest win. It reminds me like I remember going to Waffle House, and nobody goes to Waffle House because the food's good. But it's like, well, yeah, I'm going to get scrambled eggs because you can't really fuck up scrambled eggs. Well, they fucked up scrambled eggs. And I mean, I feel like this is kind of the same. It's like, man, this should be so much better. And like, I don't know, and I don't want to blame Deborah Chow too much. Honestly, I think part of the problem is the editors. Like, who is editing these things?
Mhm.
They're
Nicholas the
edited
Toth,
terrible.
or was the credited editor on this. But
Yeah,
it's just hard to say because I think the editing on all the shows has been a little
it's been
off.
bad.
Here's the
It's
thing
been
though.
real bad.
I'm really of the mind now, James, that there are no easy wins with Star Wars. I think Star Wars is deceptively difficult, and I think
Yeah.
when you get a win, I don't know how replicatable it is over time. Like, it's
Mm.
sometimes a win with Star Wars is almost just pure luck. Like, I just, like, Lucas himself was struggling sometimes with, is this work? I don't know. Is this Star Wars? I don't know. Like, it is difficult. So
Yeah.
um
Well,
what
is
I
Star
would
Wars just of an era?
but here's the thing though, like, what gets me though is they have a look with Mando. I feel like we're going backwards sometimes. You know, like are we going backwards here on a look? But I don't know, like because Andor looks like way above Mando. Like I don't.
Mm-hmm.
So this, what is the look of something is a TV is the one thing where you can do the look better than it because they can't spend a lot of money on pew pews and boom booms. So the look is strong, you know.
There
And
were a few times I saw like Darth Vader move really fast in frame with a static camera. And I was like, why would you do that? Like they always shoot Vader and the camera will like turn and he's moving and it gives us like momentum to the shots. Instead, you just see like an actor trying to move fast in a clunky costume. It wasn't the actor's fault. It wasn't his
Right.
fault, but it definitely
Yeah.
like yeah, that was the stuff I was probably the most critical of. I mean, there were a
Yeah.
couple of nice shots. Surprisingly, I like the shot with fire and Darth Vader. I always hate those fucking t-shirts and stuff with fire and Darth Vader. It's just so fucking
they had to
tacky.
make one of those.
But
Yeah.
but when they there was like one, but
I was like,
also like
he burned alive. Like what the?
yeah,
Yeah.
Was
yeah.
that not the cheapest escape too, with Obi-Wan getting away? I mean, it's
I
like,
don't
oh, there's a
know.
wall of fire. It's not like this Sith Lord couldn't just like fucking walk
He's
through it.
Oh,
mostly made of
my
just
leaks aren't
metal.
true. My leaks aren't true. There was no underground railroad. He wasn't burned. Tala wasn't actually good.
I know.
Leia wasn't be taken to Ner in the fourth episode. You're right, dude. I don't know why
Fake
you're here.
news.
Um, the Old Republic says it's the best episode so far. Agree 100% on the camera work. Really bad. Should have ended the episode with Obi-Wan in the fire. Nick Gillard should have taught them how to fight with a lightsaber. Yeah, that's what I think too. Like I actually really though do like the story, but I am critical of the fact that they removed. I'm pretty sure they just didn't use some of the lines that were written for the fight because that
Yeah.
I know like I saw stuff from that, like I know there was more to it and it's not there. And so I don't know, they definitely did edit it down. It's like it could have been a lot
Yeah.
longer,
Well, it's
but
tough to do when you got a guy in a giant suit. I mean, it's not easy to, and you really have to do what you said, like with camera movements and stuff like that. You really have to convey it because you can't just have those two guys going toe to toe like the Maul Obi-Wan fight
well
because you
but
got a guy in a big helmet. I mean, there's so
but
much you can't do with that.
Well, and so if you do have a guy in a big helmet and you do have a little guy that's clashing with them, who's clearly outclassed, like Luke, it was very much in some ways it was reminiscent of Luke Bespin, and they kind of had that thing going. No, I'm not making a fucking quality comparison. I'm saying it was the same kind of matching here for him, but they had lines to say to each other. They said things to
Right.
each other that filled up the vacant space of the guy in the clunky suit. And so
Mhm.
here he's like doing it, and then they don't say anything, and I'm just like, fuck, like, yeah, it need more work. It
Yeah,
wasn't that was not like that wasn't ready in my opinion.
yeah.
Like it needed a lot. It needed more. And yeah, and it needed ADR. It needed some I they should have built that in the editing. At the end of the
Mhm.
day, maybe they couldn't. I don't know. I don't know how it works on that front, what the rules are, but
Well, they
yeah.
previs the hell out of these things. They showed that on Mando, where like all the fight scenes, like and what's his name, in the gallery for Mando, he was talking about how they had a fight scene and they previs all the stuff before, and it's the greatest thing ever. Yeah, I mean it. It should be, um, but this is the result of all that amazing technology to be able to previs, and then somebody fucked up. I mean,
Or yeah, I mean, or is it what happens when you just but like I said, I mean, I liked the story. I found it compelling the whole time. I was in it the whole time. It was just like, oh, look at that. That could have been better. I think that could have been better. And I wasn't looking for that stuff. I just could clearly see that it was just very much like a parent, like Rob said, Energizer Bunny commercial moments. And a lot of times where just Vader was very much framed poorly. Most of my
mm,
critique would come in for the Darth Vader, the way that Darth Vader was filmed
yeah,
more than anything. But at the same time, I think I'm probably gonna feel this way forever. But like the first time I saw Yoda in The Last Jedi, I thought it looked crazy. And then I see it now, and I'm like, this doesn't look crazy. I don't know. Just like seeing new Yoda was weird to me. But I don't know if I'm going through that kind of cognitive dissonance. I don't think so, but maybe. But I liked but like I said, like the opening scenes though, where like Obi-Wan's like, you don't talk. Like we're farmers from Tall and you don't talk and all this kind of stuff. And then they get into it and he can't fucking talk. She's doing all the talking the whole time. Like just like that actual like chemistry and the writing of that stuff was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And like so like given the credit where credit's due here on that front. But it is kind of hard when you get to like the Darth Vader confrontation just not to focus all on that. Indira Varma was really good. I thought she was a really good character. I like the kind of like implications of what she does, for like Leia. I'm pretty sure she's kind of like I'm pretty sure she like comes into the series and then like kind of like just like goes out, and then we're gonna get into the next place, and then but anyways, yeah. So next, the next episode's the nurse stuff, and I know all of that is on that planet. To a save Leia. So yeah, so I'm guessing that yet the O'Shea Jackson Jr. stuff and him being like the pilot stops, that must be from the fifth episode. Actually, that must be how that organization speaks. Like that happens still. That stuff still happens. It's just not happening where I thought it did initially.
Mm.
But it just says, Rob, I watched episode 1. Gotta agree. Too much prequel shit. Did you ever say too much prequel shit? I don't even know if you even said
That's
that.
not what I
But
said. I said if you're a fan of the prequels, you're probably gonna love this more than me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of prequel-y bits to this.
Sure.
I don't know.
Even
I like prequels.
like the shot,
Mm.
the shot where he's in the room and it has that strong perspective. It almost looks like they paint over a super 3D high angle. It's a shot it's the type of shot you only see in the prequels because it's created literally synthetically. It's just oddly composed for me. So it's just like people look. The average person probably doesn't care. All right, but I'm not talking to the average person. You know what I mean? Like when I have these conversations with my fellow artist friends, I'm like, the compositions in Empire Strikes Back are magical. Like you really got to understand how strongly composed that entire film is. It is timeless. It is timeless and way beyond what it should be. And I understand it was incredibly difficult to get those shots. Maybe more than Lucas ever felt was worth the trouble. But I think Star Wars should be timeless. So, I once you've already done it, then I'm like, well, you're kind of your own. It's like when you see the Tim Burton Batwing go up in front of the moon, or you see that Tim Burton Batman in front of that bat signal. If the bat signal doesn't look as good as that bat signal at the end of Batman '89, if it looks all weird and janky and stupid and cheap, or like when I like Batman Forever, but when Val Kilmer swings in on that rope, it's really bad, and you know what I mean. It's not good.
Yeah.
So compositions matter, and especially Vader. He's such a strong silhouette. He's all silhouette that when you're not getting that right look with him, it's just this, like,
well,
all right, man.
It's tough to do the Empire thing, and I get it where Lucas, allegedly was upset with Kirshner because he wasn't getting coverage, and for the layman, basically means that because Lucas is fix it and post. You make the movie in the editing process, and Kirshner didn't give Lucas what he wanted to work with, and it kind of locked him into a corner in terms of how the movie was edited together. And people can say, well, it came together great, but at the same time, I get it where, if you're an editor and you're wanting to get as much footage as possible to create the story in post, trying to get that exact beautiful one great shot does limit your options when you get into that editing bay.
Kirshner didn't know that Lucas was having financial issues, and Kirshner was getting the shots perfect and doing everything perfect. And Lucas was like, do it good enough, well enough. And but they didn't want Kirshner to know because they didn't want his work to start to suffer worrying about the money.
Right.
Zachary says, I kind of watch these shows with my emotions. So bad camera work and wonky CG don't bother me as much in things like this as they would if it was some random show I was checking out for the first time. So yeah, I mean, it's
Except that it's
to an
Darth Vader
extent.
versus Obi-Wan. Like it's probably the first time I ever remember a fight when I was a kid with those two fighting. You know, like it's an indelible image. It's not like oh, Batman versus the Riddler. You know, like I'm not expecting it to be the world's greatest fight, but this is kind of a big deal. You'd think there'd be something on the table like, man, never saw that shit coming. You know,
Yeah,
the only real surprise I had in any of the fights was when that stormtrooper fell down, got cut in half at the gate, right? The little laser
yeah, that was
gate.
cool.
Like I was like, oh shit, that was dope. You
That's
know,
nice.
like all right, yeah,
That's touching.
but you know, like Vader dragging some people with the Force was cool, but I thought he would do it. Thought he was doing it to like get Obi-Wan to draw himself out, right? Like he's torturing those people, but
That's what
it's
I thought
not
too.
clear. Like if Vader by himself was
Mhm.
quietly saying, you know, things like you want to help them, but you can't. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
hide, or something taunting. You know, like there's just I feel
no.
like
It
if it
was
were, go-
it needed it needed a line saying, "I'm
Hmm.
going to kill every one of these villagers until you come out." Like,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't there. Like, yeah, I thought the same thing as you, dude. Like, I thought that's what was happening, but was that what was happening, or was Darth Vader just fucking throwing a hissy fit? Was his Mapuzo? You know, was that a Mapuzo problems? You know, Mo Mapuzo, no problems. I always say.
Mo
Ryoko says,
Puzo, Mo Problem.
Is 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 James Earl Jones voicing Vader? Yeah, it was James Earl Jones.
Yeah,
Also surprised
Yeah.
that they I'm really surprised they didn't push that in the PR side of things
Right.
in the press that he was voicing Darth Vader again. But maybe they're saving it for post release. Oh, Darth Vader was back last night, and James Earl Jones is back, and then they'll do that. Maybe that's the plan. Venom Empire
Mhm.
says, I enjoyed this episode, but there were technical issues. Stagecraft screen stood out a lot. Here's hoping the second fight is more of a fight. I will say this, it felt like a horror movie at times. Yeah, like there were elements of that I thought worked really, really well. Like I was saying, like when when the lightsabers were so I liked that the lightsabers were so bright, you felt like you couldn't see, like, outside of the periphery, and it did make that kind of scarier. But I don't know, when I watch it again, I'll see, but I don't know if it delivered on the fight promise of it being scary. And I also kept expecting that shot from Empire. You know, when Luke is going through the corridor and he steps out and Vader, like, comes down on him, like, comes down, like, overhead, like he's gonna chop the
yeah.
fucking head off, and it's like, "Whoa." Uh, I thought that was gonna happen like 4 times, and it never happened. I was like, What the fuck?" It's like that's like the money shot of doing this kind of thing,
Mhm.
and, it didn't do it. I was really disappointed, um, in terms not of the story, but I was disappointed in the lack of dialogue for the fight, and I was disappointed in, really just like the lack of interesting things beyond clashing. It's kind of funny because remember when everyone was a lightsaber expert and Nick Gillard needed to listen to them about how lightsaber fights were going to be? That's what happens when you don't get Nick Gillard and you fucking think that you know what you're talking about, and just two people clashing. It was ultimately like hoping that they were saving that this one, it was downplayed a little bit for the last one, and it does step up. Maybe it
Mhm.
will. You know what I mean? If people were cynical about that, I wouldn't blame them for going, I don't know about that one, Jason. I wouldn't blame you if you were cynical on that. But I mean,
But they,
that
yeah.
was that was literally like there was a point where Obi-Wan like literally runs. It was like, oh fuck, I'm out of here. And
Right.
I was like, oh shit. I was like, but that was I actually really enjoyed that. I was like, in a weird way, it was kind of like, shit, okay.
It was kind of like the Indiana Jones with the gun shooting the swordsman kind of thing. It's just like, ah,
Yeah.
fuck this, I'm out.
Makes you
Yeah.
really appreciate that mining set on Temple of Doom, huh?
Hey,
Makes
right?
you really
It
appreciate
was
the
quality.
levels, right? The levels of
Yeah.
different conveyor belts going, and the
Yeah.
smoke and the atmosphere, and as opposed
Yeah.
to I don't know, just darkness and piles of dirt. Like,
Speaking of really bad edits, there was one point where he runs away, and then the very next shot is like a reverse shot. So you see him run off screen right, and then the next shot he runs back on screen left. So it
Oh
looks
yeah.
like he ran off screen and then changed his mind and came back. So when I first saw that, I was like, did he just be like, did Steve just do a fake out? Did he just do an okey doke to Vader? It was like, it was just a straight, like the editing in these shows is just bizarre. I don't,
Yeah, yeah, stuff is probably missing, and then when you put it together like that, it just kind of like, what was he doing?
yeah.
Marvel Mania says solid episode. Some stuff felt a bit off, like a fan film, but overall, I had a good time. Vader was scary, as he should be. The way the episode concluded, though, was kind of messy. 7.5 out of 10 for me. So yeah, I would yeah, I feel like that's probably I'm probably about a 7 out of 10 on this one. Is probably, you know what I mean? Like I said, there was like a lot of there was actually like a lot of good moments. I mean, there was like just like deeper story stuff that I thought was good. The stuff about the Underground Railroad I actually liked. Excuse me. I thought that stuff was like pretty cool. I like when she mentions like they have like these like safe houses, and the like I said, the Quinlan Voss thing was like the callback to him was cool, and the implication that he's out there doing this stuff was cool. And yeah, I found all of that stuff like interesting, and I was like, okay, like this is story stuff that I actually am pulled in by. That's not just like, Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader, but had that fight, had that, and once again, I'm not misunderstanding the fight, just in case any. I think that that's something that may happen. People will be like, the fight wasn't supposed to be that. Yeah, you're right. The fight was literally supposed to be similar to Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back, when he's just in over his head, and Obi-Wan is in over his head, and there's like no question about that. Um, but it was just really weird. Like the limited dialogue that they did have, I did enjoy, when he's like, basically they have their Batman moment, "You made me," kind of thing. That was good, but there was all that these guys have a lot more to say. Could have had a lot more to say to each other than what they actually like put in there, you know. And they didn't use the what have they done the line, which I really liked. It was really sad to not see it in the episode, because this is where it should have been. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, Kieran says, how should Obi-Wan become a scared to another? I don't know, man. Ike says, "Yep, that's James Earl Jones. It definitely was." Peter, I think they don't leave the planet. Marvel Mania says, "Whoa, my chat just went crazy, crazy on you." Um, Marvel says the ideas here are amazing. I just think the execution has been a bit mixed. I wonder if this is the result of the writing kind of going through many phases during development, back and forth, because of Mando. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Um, Roberto Blue says it feels anticlimactic. Deborah Chow directing kind of plain, lack of soul. It did. Yeah. I Like I said, when people are conversing, I think it's fine. When it's action based stuff, like with the lightsaber fight, yeah. But it was also like I said, like they were like it was like they were saying, act like Darth Vader, and like the guy's like acting like Darth Vader, but then like it's just sitting there like in a static shot. Like it was very strange. Yeah, Marvel says, I still like the show overall, but it's only been good, not great or phenomenal. Like I was maybe hoping for it, kind of like with James on this one. Yeah, I actually like dig the general like story. I think is good, but Yeah, but that episode was the one where I was like, I think I definitely like the first episode more, but I'm gonna watch it again. Watch it again, see how I feel. And it's it's like the first part of the middle, and when the first part of the middle is never really that good without the second part of the middle. You know what I mean? Like we kind of need the next part to. But I will say, if the next episode is bad, then the show does like literally really suffer if the next episode isn't phenomenal.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the dual looking fan films? Yeah, I think you're kind of getting on what we've been talking about. Why does the lightsaber look so different in the show? I think what they did was they relied more on the luminescence of the lightsabers to try to like fill in the frame, if you will, and like the lack of set, maybe even. And like they made it dark and made those bright, like I said, and to an extent, like it works in moments, but we've also seen like that kind. I mean, actually, I'm not knocking. Actually, I think that was fine. It was just a follow up to it. The problem is that they didn't follow up with it. Like it's a good idea by itself, but like in Attack of the Clones, we see Anakin fight Dooku in the dark, and you just like see like the lightsabers going from here and there, and they're like, what the fuck? Like it looks cool, but also does look a little bit like a little ravey. I think we Arl Knots would say, but yeah. The Spanky says the show's been awful so far. They're making Obi-Wan look like a bitch. Yeah, that once again is the I knew that would happen. I knew somebody would think, but that is the actual
Very
point.
subtle, Spanky.
Yeah. But don't worry, Obi-Wan will stop looking. He gets his mojo, like I said. The Scrufflander says the way Vader snapped that chick's neck was so brutal. Instantly shows you how scared you should be. Yeah. I mean, like it's that was, Darth Vader being Darth Vader, which like I said, I I liked it. It was a little checkboxy in terms of like look how evil is, and like I said, it needed to weave back into the plot more. Like we needed to like actually like no, I'm going to do this until you come out, and instead it's like you kind of implied it.
It's just kind of Vader being a dick. I mean, it's. I would think that he would be brutal with a purpose, not
I
just like I can just kill people. So what the fuck?
Well,
It's
are we supposed to think back to
weird.
what the Grand Inquisitor's thing at the beginning? Where he says like like what they do in the bar, like
Yeah.
is it tonally a callback to that, and we're supposed to read into it to like their methods, so to speak. But if it is the case, it could have been done a little bit bolder.
Yeah, I think you're giving them way too much credit. I don't think they
Mm-hmm.
thought that through. So
Yeah, there was no dialogue. It needed it.
and it's weird because one of my criticisms in the first two episodes was that there was points where there should have been no dialogue and there was dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Like even like the whole thing with the transport taking off and she's yelling, you can't get, it was like, I don't need her yelling Kenobi at the dock. She could have just sat there and watched it.
Yeah.
And then, and I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird edit.
But we could all agree it was the Reva show, right? Revelation Vlog says it feels so cheap. I'm not really trying to nitpick it, but it didn't feel like Star Wars. The music wasn't Star Wars. This fight is a little literal joke compared to Revenge of the Sith. Yes, yeah, I see. Like that's where we run into the whole thing of like the story is that's not Obi-Wan from Revenge of the Sith, but the story is that he does become Obi-Wan from Revenge of the Sith when he starts to hear Qui-Gon and he becomes his old self again, and then is really able to come back as a powerhouse, right? Like in a weird way, this is sort of like it's like if you look at it like a boxer, he was a boxer, he was just getting worked, and then but now we're gonna see him do the Rocky thing later on, and go the 12 rounds with Darth Vader, and like so like that's supposed to happen. Will it? We will see, but Yeah, but he definitely had. I've seen people in mixed martial arts have a couple of Obi-Wan moments like he was having today where you're like they don't know what to do once they're there. And it's like early fighters and stuff. But that rematch was
Oh no,
complete
how about
ass.
the Rose fight last UFC? Let's just do 5 rounds where nobody does anything. That's great. That's a championship match. Everyone makes $1 million.
But just the Chivas says the fight was kind of meh. Wish it was a bit more impressive. Like you can feel Vader is the goddamn boss now. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of strange because like when they were filming this stuff, everyone was like super jazzed about what they were doing. You know what I
Maybe
mean?
they could
But
bring down the jazz a little bit.
yeah, I think the jazz was a
Yeah.
little maybe there was a little too much
I
jazz.
Yeah.
I look, this is I don't want to get you in trouble with, people that watch the show, and this is my thoughts. It's not based
Yeah,
on
yeah.
anything
No,
we
be
talked
honest,
about,
dude.
right?
They
When
they shouldn't be told they're good just because they know me or just because they linked me.
I know, and I just don't want to get you in trouble. Like when I hear creatives before, because they do pre-interviews. They did an interview with Deborah Chow, and Joby Harold did an interview with Empire Magazine podcast, right?
Yeah.
Prior, right before the show was released. And I get there's only so much you can say because of PR. I get it. But when all the stories are constantly, I was so excited, we're so excited, I had to pinch myself. It was like playing with action figures. It's not the conversation I want to hear coming from somebody. Like it's just not. Like there's got to be a. But I don't think Ian Kirsch, Ivan Kirsch was like, I was just so excited to be on the set of. Richard Marquand was saying I was so excited, and that's where I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That starstruck thing when you're there, I feel like there should be a total level of, man, I had a vision for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I really wanted to put this character at this point and capture this fucking moment, and like, and you. But I just feel like when I hear that so excited stuff, it's just like everyone liked what I did. I came in, I did a good job. Everyone was happy. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily like, direct Fast Furious 10. You know what I mean? They'd be happy to have you. I'm not talking about that, like,
Yeah. It reminds me of like
so
people would talk about playing basketball with Michael Jordan and they would forget they were actually in the game because they were so like, oh my God, I'm watching this legend just do his thing. And I forget that I actually have a job to do here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're so caught up in their own shit of in their own world that
but
they forget
I
they
never
actually
hear
have to
that. I never heard that
do
from
something.
Christopher Nolan prior to Batman Begins when he was talking pre-interviews about Batman Begins. I didn't hear that from Matt Reeves in the ramp up to the Batman. Like, I was just so excited and can't believe they let me touch this thing. Like I just don't hear that. So it's just one of those little like warning things I put down. Like, everyone's excited. Everyone had a good. Was it too good? I don't think sets need to be a nightmare. And I really, they don't. It's just when someone is, like when you get a musician who's really passionate about the whole fucking album versus I can't believe I played in the garden. You know what I mean? I played in the garden. It's a famous play. Everyone's been here. You're like, yeah, I know, man. Like, what are you actually playing though? We're doing the bits. Just bringing out the best. Like, all right, all right.
I
And
am with Scruffinator though. Speaking of music, the music felt so star. I thought the music was actually really good this episode. It's hard to believe that only the main theme was John Williams. It was it yeah. I
yeah, I
did
like the
notice the
music on
music
this. Out
was
of out of all the 3 episodes, I like the music here. And I think she said that too. Like, remember she was saying I kind of got my vibe going around the third episode or third or fourth
yeah
episode. I felt that. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah,
I just
music's
think
fine.
like there is a tone that they had on the prequels, um where like you get this bit of music and it like lyrically takes you to a place, and this is like it's I don't know why they're in such a hurry to like I get faster, more intense, but when you don't have a lot to do, take your time a little bit and build up tension, like build to the planet, let that music linger a little bit, like just set the atmosphere a little bit more. If you don't got big pod races coming, if you just got this intimate character driven stuff,
yeah.
like there are other things you can lean on Like even like when you got to Dagobah, or I mean, it's a little bit rougher on the edges of Crash Landing, but let's say Bespin, right? When you get to Bespin, like the way the music interplays with the setting, like
Mhm.
I, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they let it breathe in the wrong spots a lot of times. There's certain things that are drawn out, and then other things that are truncated. Like I said, it's the editing is my biggest problem. I mean, I can nitpick a lot of other stuff, but at the end of the day, like I don't know if like they need to go in and tell these directors like, okay, you got a 30-minute runtime. So whatever you do, you have to cut this episode down to 30 minutes. And I
Mhm.
think if they were put in that like situation, like, oh my God, I got to make this work in 30 minutes, that we'd actually get something better. Because I feel like feel like they have all the time in the world. Because Lord knows, most movies they go and do that first edit, it's like, oh shit, this thing's 4 hours long. I got to cut half of this stuff out, and they got to make some tough decisions, and they got to really look at it and know what plays and what's important, and pacing. And this is just like you just gave them a blank check to just 40 minutes, 38 minutes, 50 minutes, do whatever you got to do. Just don't worry about your runtime, and
What I was thinking was like, it would have been cool if how there's like that random woman who comes and saves Kenobi. It would be cool if they like made her where she was like leading an underground railroad, and she was like an imperial officer, and she joined like the Empire, but then she like realized it was evil, and then she was like actually like helping people in this underground railroad, and then if she was like given Leia to like save Leia, but then she decided like her and Leia decided to like go and like save Obi-Wan at the end. And because like Leia could take care of herself, even though she's just a child, she can do it. She thinks. And then it would be cool like if that happened instead of like just a random woman saving Kenobi. Kenobi was barely able to fight, and then he gets saved by a random woman. What the hell? I know that's what I was just saying, dude. Like, I had all these ideas. It would have been cool if that happened in the episode and it wasn't like just a random woman. So the Spanky says he beat Obi-Wan there worse than he beat Luke in Empire. Kinda, because Obi-Wan was like
To be
where,
fair, Luke didn't burn his dick off. Like someone burns my dick off, I'm gonna be a little bit mean to him the next time we meet up.
yeah. It would have been cool if when
Just
Leia
gonna
was
say.
like, "Are you my real dad?" And she was like, "Well, your real dad thought so, but no." he he was
When he
kind of
says
a jealous
I wish I
bitch.
were, I'm like, I bet you do.
Mm. I'm kind of curious if people are going to be really mad about Obi-Wan's slip up of the Leia line. That was the one thing that I was kind of wondering, like was that would he fuck that up? I get not being able to fight because but that was a little one where I was a little bit like Obi-Wan's he's pretty good at he's been a spy and stuff before. Like he's done he's been an age. He sneaks around. He's sneaky. I don't know.
I thought, look, this is just subjective, right? This is
Mhm.
this is a little bit more minutia stuff, but when he just immediately when they get to the spot on Mapuzo and there's like, yeah, no one's coming. I'm like, you just got here, buddy. Like, try to give it at
right.
least, you know, pan up to the time of day. Do the look. This is my other biggest complaint. We're talking about editing. There are no wipes. There has not been one Kurosawa Star Wars style wipe, and they kept invoking Kurosawa on the ramp up to this
Yeah.
series. I'm like, no wipes, no pick the droid up, fucking little wipe. You know what I mean? No, like he
Oh,
looks up.
it's
Well, we'll wait.
you can't
We have to be
flush those.
patient, and then
You can't flush those with the Disney septic system. It messes it all up. So no wipes. Deborah Chow said no
Yeah.
wipes. We're
Hey,
not dealing
look,
with that
never go
again.
cheap on wipes, right, James? Never go cheap on wipes.
Words to live by.
Oh, and
Yeah,
Kieran says
it's
Obi-Wan's brother
weird.
and Quinlan Voss are the most important parts of the episode. I don't think they're the most important parts. I don't think they're actually not important to the episode whatsoever, but they were important world building for future stuff potentially. They
Interesting
definitely
stuff. Yeah.
opened doors, but they wasn't actually important. I don't think, anyways.
Yeah. To go back to the wipe thing, I wonder because 99% of the time, using a wipe is not a good idea in your film or TV show. It's such a old style, old timey thing that it's so I wonder if Disney, Lucasfilm, or someone is like, that's like, of a certain era. We want to be more hip and modern, because doing star wipes is not hip and modern. That's something you do, like, at the shop down the mall when you're making your own video with your friends in front of a green screen. I wonder if they just have a general adverse
Yeah.
opinion of
And
doing that
then you have
stuff.
like a modern style with these costumes that don't really necessarily lend themselves to modern styles,
I'm not saying
and
they're
it looks
consistent.
weird. Yeah. No, I'm saying I think you're
Yeah,
kind of onto something there
yeah,
to like some extent, because I mean, like they started moving like with Rogue One, moved away from doing the opening crawl and started saying like these aren't serials in that way. Like we're not doing the throwback stuff as much. And so I kind of think that it is a bit of
Yeah, but
that.
this is literally supposed to be a bridge between the two. And wipes are in the
Yeah,
prequels, wipes are in episode
no, and
4.
that's
yeah. They're
yeah.
I'm not
barely
saying
in
every
sequels.
time, but you could do
No, no.
1 or 2 here and there, you know?
Yeah,
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying is like you when you go and shoot it that way and it looks very modern, then but it actually starts to look bad for it. It would be better, I think, if it was either just shot dramatically, like I don't know, like I found like it felt like the camera was too low on Darth Vader. Like they thought if they shot him low, he was going to look bigger, but it wasn't shot like in a way. It was just shot like here's Darth Vader's dick in front. I don't know. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but it that's how it looked like. Like everything just looked low to me. That's
yeah.
strange.
I'm really looking forward to speaking to my cinematography friend about this one.
Yeah.
He's already been like, they who's doing this the cinema, who's doing the DP on it? I'm like, it's the guy who did Old Boy and Last Night in Soho. I can't figure it out, for the life of me. Like he's like, what? Like, yeah, I can't figure that one
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
So that's
I'm gonna watch it again and see if I'm being just way too critical. You know what I mean? Like on my when I watch it again, like, or does this stuff stick out more? Because I mean, I'll probably
Yeah.
watch it again before I go to bed tonight. And sometimes things like I said are hard to take in on a first time when it's some like Darth Vader. Seeing new Darth Vader is in a certain way is a hard something hard to take in when you haven't seen that like in that way, like 4K Darth Vader and stuff like that. I don't know, but maybe I'm being too forgiving too at the same time. I don't know. But Marvel Mania says Vader wanting to burn Kenobi to make him suffer was awesome, though. I love the pettiness of Vader. Yeah, I like that too. I thought that was a pretty good burn. Get it? Vortex says the rematch is not canon. Come on now. Okay, Vortex. Um, yeah, Spigot says, yeah, Vortex. All of a sudden, that fire and a droid is stopping Vader from using the Force to stop them from getting away. What I thought was kind of what I liked in terms of just being a super nerdy Star Wars fan was when Vader grabs him. It was like occurring to me they really don't have a comeback for that because they don't really train for that. Like in the Jedi Order, you're not really afraid that another Jedi is gonna go and grab you. They're like all on the same side, and there's no Sith the whole time. So they really aren't like this isn't a thing that you really like are like prepared for necessarily. But so when he gets him, he gets him.
It seems so out of place given all the other fights that
That
you've
don't do
never
it.
seen anything even close to that before. So it just seems it doesn't sit right, given
Yeah.
that there's so many other times where that would come in handy and useful, and you don't see anything even close to that. So
Mm,
yeah, it just came off as, well, this is weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have a problem with the fire the fire blocking through them. Although I was of the opinion that Darth Vader could probably just walk through that fire. That wasn't about the Force. Nothing to do with the Force. You could have
it was
made up some Force
mostly
power,
machine.
We could have
but I
dragged Obi-Wan's body through the fire. He didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, there's a fire. I guess I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
weird.
funny. They said the fight was more prequel style. It felt very clumsy. Depends on your opinion of the prequels, I guess. No. One of the things that we have actually been saying the whole time is it sounded like it was like there was supposed to be like really big moves, like maybe it would get more on the back end, but we weren't exactly sure exactly what the fighting was going to be like, if it was going to be more prequels or more original trilogy or sequel trilogy or whatever. We actually was a question we were kind of asking, what was it truly going to be? And I still but I mean, looking at that, I mean, Obi-Wan is literally running around at moments of the fight. So it's like that wasn't supposed to be like the awesome fight. Awesome fight is coming. But will it deliver is the question that it is completely fair to ask. I'm not saying that like but I'm saying like let's look at what they're doing. That wasn't supposed to be an awesome episode 1 fight. Like they weren't going for that. There was never a moment in episode 1 where Qui-Gon meditates and then gets up and starts running around scared. Like that, like he's not, Obi-Wan's not controlling his fear here at all, you know. So, but Darth Kroger says, "Holy fuck, that was amazing." And once again, I am super like critical of the look of it. I like the story quite a bit. I am actually into the story. This is not fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. How would you know what it's like to fuck Obi-Wan Kenobi? The Old Republic says lightsabers look so bad if you compare it to the prequels. Funny how they made it better in early 2000. Embarrassing for Disney. So
Yeah, the
you
lightsabers look just fine in all the sequel trilogy films and Rogue One. So this is just a aesthetic choice they went with that I don't agree with. I really wish they would just stick to a look for a while.
Mhm.
Every show looking a varying different ways is getting annoying. If it's in an era, just keep a look. Like
Mm-hmm.
you the JJ films look great. Last Jedi look great. You know what I mean? Rogue One looks great. Mando has, hit or miss, but mostly great. Boba Fett looks cheap as shit, and this is 50-50. Like
Yeah,
it's just
I don't think that's possible. Unless you have the same person the same people doing all of it all of the time, and it's kind of it's all over the place with that. So it would be good though, would be nice, but you know, um, Scruffinator says the lightsaber duel was good in his opinion. It was a combination of Obi-Wan being rusty and Vader being crippled, but without the clunkiness of the New Hope duel. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna watch it again. Probably watch it when I wake up too, and I'll come back and like I said, like this is more of an impressions right now thing, and there was a lot to like take in. I definitely enjoyed myself though. That's like the whole thing. Is I wasn't like, God, I wish I was doing something else. I was glued to it the entire time. Just there were these things that were going by me. I was like, no, I don't know about that. Oh, I don't know about this. You know what I mean? Like back as it was going on. So um maybe they needed the dialogue to the second fight. You said there were two. Yeah, there are two. Now that isn't like it. Yeah. Needs to be rescued by a single rebel and droid. That's horrible writing. It has nothing to do with writing at all. I don't know what you're talking about, Vortex. Um, but have a good time, Vortex. Zachary says the lack of dialogue between Ben and Anakin is the biggest disappointment. Way more than any of the technical stuff. Hello, Dr. Spreezy.
Hey guys, how are ya?
Good. Did you finish the episode?
No, I'm about to watch it now. I just wanted to say hi.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
don't listen to us now. Just go watch it and then let us know if we're still on. I probably won't be by the time you're done, but we'll
11
definitely,
o'clock, the morning show.
yeah. So
All right, cool.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.
All right, have fun, man. Um, yeah, but the lack of dialogue between Ben and Anakin is the biggest disappointment, way more than any of the technical stuff. Yeah, I mean that is a thing that if that dialogue had been there, there would have been a lot. It wouldn't have mattered as much. It would have mattered less that didn't look so good at times, or that things were kind of like very static, it wouldn't have felt so fan filmy. Because that's one of the things that fan films classically fucking do is they don't write any dialogue. They underdo it, and they're not actors. So when they do a good fan film, they oftentimes try not to overact. So they use less acting, I think. But I also don't really like fan films, so fucking sue me. The Scruffinator says, "Don't worry, they'll fight again. That wasn't what they meant by rematch of the century. No, it's not what they meant. Like I said, that was supposed to be the fighter getting his ass kicked. I mean, that's what they were going for. But yeah, this show has been awful so far. Only things that have been good are Owen Lars scene and everything with Vader, especially his castle." Yeah, see, I actually disagree with that. Like, I thought that stuff, the Vader's castle stuff, the outside stuff looked cool. Like we're talking, like I think you said that, Rob. Like the exteriors looked cool, but yeah,
Interior wise is
interior wise,
Yeah.
that's some of the worst I've ever seen. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
like I'm sorry, you want to address this dude, or I'm gonna ban the fuck out of him. Like I'm just not in the mood for it right now.
If you want to ban, I'll ban anybody you want. I mean, you can make him a moderator if you want to. You want to just fucking turn this whole bitch
I'm not
upside
in the
down.
mood for your leaks aren't true. I'm not doing
Oh,
this.
yeah.
We can't. I'm not gonna spend every fucking show. Everything you said is right. Like that's it.
Yeah.
There's been nothing you've been wrong. Like I don't want to hear that from folks. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I
it's just a stupid
prefaced
conversation to
what I
have.
was dealing with. Yeah. Ryan says I was
But
definitely in the moment in the story and liked it, but I looked at it sometimes and was like, wow, that could have been director of photography. This, what the fuck? Yeah, me and Ryan are on the same page.
Yeah.
That was my experience.
Well, like with the exteriors of Mustafar, they probably just use the assets they have from Rogue One. So of course that looked great.
it could
because
use the interior assets as well.
Well, that was were those
some
yeah.
of that.
So, I mean, some of those were practical sets, but yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of that was probably digital in the backgrounds and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That was dumb.
TK says hard to not compare the look of the scenes to the shorter, more focused scenes like Rogue One or Fallen Order. Yeah, I agree, dude. Sis Soup said there's nothing original about the storyline. You know, I mean, I can't. It's tropey, but Star Wars is very tropey by nature. Eric Dent says I don't even pay attention to how it's shot or what it looks like. As long as the story is good, I'm happy. Yeah, and I feel like the story is good, but some of there was implication more than actually doing it.
Well, I know
Homer
a lot
says
of
1 out
people.
of 10. I don't know
As I
about 1
said,
out of 10.
I know a lot of people say that, like, well, I don't pay attention to that stuff. I don't really care about that stuff. One of the perfect examples of why that is not true, and it's not that I'm not saying that gentleman is lying, certainly, but it's you don't understand the power of the media in terms of the medium, sorry, in terms of how it affects you. One of the best examples was they did a screening for The Deer Hunter. Because of course, a lot of times these movies, they go through screening process, the audience gives their feedback, they react the movie. Deer Hunter, they had rave reviews from screening audiences, but they said their criticism was that the beginning's too slow, it's boring, they didn't like it, and the beginning of the movie is all this like they're getting ready for a wedding, and you see the characters in their hometown, and people
Yeah.
are like, oh, it's too slow, it's boring, it took me out of the movie. Well, they edited it out, and then all the audiences hated the second screening when they followed the advice of the audience to say, take
Yeah.
this stuff out. We don't like it. You don't realize how much that affects your viewing unless you're really in the minutia of it, of like the filmmakers are, of knowing how pacing and all this stuff and camera angles and everything and how it affects your viewing experience. So while you can say that, well, I don't look at that stuff, you do, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, it does affect how you take in the medium.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people don't think in those terms, and totally understandable. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're analyzing here is in terms of the technical aspects and how that affects your experience.
Yeah. I think we do notice more than we can articulate at times. But whatever. Frankie says, "Can you guys relax?" Frankie, if I could relax, we wouldn't have done like 20 episodes this week. DC says, "I love the show, but it is shot like a fan film in places. Vader sitting in the throne looked pudgy. I don't know. It had a cheapness to it. There was some unflattering kind of stuff with that. Yeah, that's the way I would put it. Like it was. I was very surprised to see Darth Vader at times shot that way. I completely think that it's fair game. That's the fairest criticism I've heard." Spanky says, "How can they get Mandalorian so right and this so wrong?" I don't think it. I think it's Mandalorian wasn't doing lightsaber fights with characters that we have that are pre-established, that have an ominous presence that is larger than life, that it maybe people don't even understand why it worked so well when it did, or how they got it to. But there was stuff about like I remember in the making of Star Wars, they talk about shooting Darth Vader. Like I found if I shot him this way, it looked stupid. So we always shot him like that. And there was clearly like violations of those rules that were discovered on those movies. That just didn't, I don't think happened here, unfortunately. The Old Republic says, "Could each of you three give us a dice number of how good you like the series so far?" I will give it a 3, a 3 out of 6. You're saying? Like the pacing in this episode better balance the calm scenes, building story, and then action. Right now, I mean, right now it's a out of 6 is a hard scale for me because I feel like I don't feel like perfect is possible, so I would never give it a 6. But I feel like a 5 is too high, but I feel like a 4 is too low. I don't know, man. Like it's a really hard thing. Like it's done like for me, the opening of him on Tatooine and that life and that experience for me is almost perfect. Nothing is perfect. Anybody who says anything's perfect, anybody who gives anything a 10 is a bullshit artist. Anybody who gives anything a 1, bullshit artist. That's what I say. When there's 1s and 10s, nah, hyperbolic. I mean, but so anyways, I really like that stuff. I really liked when they I liked a lot of Dai, but then like you get to the Dai Rick rooftop chase, I could see what it could have been versus what it was, which it felt like they kind of hopped over 2 buildings. It wasn't really like that it wasn't they shouldn't have done it. At the end of the day is how I felt about like the rooftop stuff. You know what I mean? Like it just like this isn't, I don't know what you thought you were gonna get, but you didn't get it. And then that's kind of like the mindset in this one, the set of the mining facility. That wasn't good either. That was like a very, very boring set. It just felt like you could have just went down to like fucking Paramount or outside of Compton somewhere right there and just filmed that like in like a place and been like, "Oh, this is our Star Wars fan film." This is and it looked like somebody's dad was like, "Hey, I won't, we're not doing any work on the construction set for 2 days. You could come down here and film a Star Wars if you want to." And then they did it. Like that's kind of what it looked like to me. And this is Star Wars. And so, see, I like when something has a like you could get like the real world version of it, but like there's times when it's too on the nose, like the fucking truck that picks them up. That was just too fucking like on the nose. Like you could have given me like
waiting for the balls to hang from the bottom of it too. You know what I mean? Like
no,
when you had the Imperial soldier on the bed. That's right. I'm gonna put on Imperial AM radio. We can hear these guys roast them rebels. You know,
Yeah.
like oh shit, dude. You know, these guys.
Yeah.
I like a little order around here. You know, like all right, man. All
but
right.
I admit
Making the galaxy great again.
I really I loved when the stormtroopers got on the truck with them. Like that was like I felt like that was the attention of the moment and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I really enjoyed it. I thought that was like it was well done. So like I said, it's the thing about it like with the chat tonight to some extent, it's not that bad, but but to some extent, it's like everybody's like, this is the worst thing. This is a fan film bullshit. And then there's other people that are like, oh, that was so good, perfect. I'm like, you know what?
I told you it's a 50-50. This whole
Mhm.
series so far is a 50-50. You're either gonna love this or probably be nonplussed. You know, like
I
it,
still think I like it. I still think it's my favorite Star Wars TV so far, though, personally.
Wow.
Yeah, I got cute kids. See, Baby Yoda isn't gonna fucking get too far with me. Like, it's got to do a little bit more than just be cute. You know what I mean? Like I watch that shit so much now. I see like Baby Yoda. I'm like, yeah, you're not cute to me anymore. I'm fucking used to you, little bitch. You know what I mean? But so no. So it's like but the powerful thing about the Mando is how well it works the first time you see it. And that's very important with Star Wars because of you need to kind of get out ahead of the criticism, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, in fairness, now Mando's got 2 seasons, 2.5 if you count Book of Boba, and
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, but the high points of Mando have definitely been far beyond this,
Mm.
and I think like the first episode of Mando with Bo-Katan, or the episode with Ahsoka. I mean, those are high watermarks.
Yeah,
Those are
see,
probably the best Star Wars TV
for
we've
for
gotten.
for me, they were good action stories, like that kind of thing right there. But I know it's weird. I don't really like connect with it deeply. It's effective and it's fun, and I just like but it's not like it doesn't resonate deeply with me for whatever reason.
No, I get what you're saying. It doesn't have like that whole mythos of Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah, but in terms certainly in terms of technical aspects, it's light years beyond what we're seeing with this show right now.
yeah.
I'll take that Mando episode when they storm that Imperial cruiser with Bo-Katan, and
Yeah, that's fun.
the
Yeah,
pacing, the editing, the lighting. I mean, it looks good. It's very well done. Yeah, it's not some kind of profound storyline. I get where you're going with that, but
well, it's like also like the first episode with Bryce Dallas Howard did, like the ATST
yeah.
stuff, fucking great.
Mhm.
But then you look at the village and like the costumes and the fucking idiots going "Rrr," about it, and then I felt like it looked like Next Generation, and it's
Totally.
so they're like the things that we're seeing here, I have seen in Mando at very
Mhm.
critical points too. So it's like
Yeah.
and that's where there is like I think, and I could be wrong, like I might change my mind on this, but I was telling Rob before we started, I feel like it encroaches on being a Star Wars film and then it goes into TV. And I feel like if it was maybe just one or the other, it's that weird place where it's like fluctuating between film and fluctuating between TV that makes it where like it loses where it feels wrong.
Now, I know
It
you
feels
said
off.
that the script for the movie was not so great.
No,
You mentioned that.
that's well, no,
Yeah.
I heard that it was
Yeah.
the opposite. I was
Oh,
that's what I was saying. I heard that at first I at the script for the movie was like super fucking like rad. Like people somebody back then at Disney was telling me like it's the best script we ever had and stuff like that. But then I know
no.
that isn't the like truth because they wouldn't have
They said
changed
that
it.
about Solo too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because it just
So
feels like they took that script and they just added filler.
yeah.
Like this feels like if they were, on a time crunch, that they would have done a better job with this material. They would have kind
Yeah.
of cut it down to what's necessary for the story. Because right now it just feels filler.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like they didn't add
Well,
anything.
like wait, in terms of the like this part of the story, I think this is where we start to get into Kenobi connecting with the larger like Star Wars galaxy again
Mhm.
because he's kind of he's our hermit, right? That's like the whole thing is he's like the hermit, but in this one he kind of gets into the hermit life and then becomes like the bad part of it. But when we meet him in A New Hope, they call him a hermit. He is, but he's pretty fucking jovial. Like he doesn't really like when you really meet Herbert, they don't really want to talk to you. They don't like you. They're like Walter Matthau, not Happy Alec Guinness. And this is a little bit where we are kind of in our Walter Matthau Kenobi stage, I think, right now. And so he's going to come out of that through these interactions. That's what's supposed to happen, anyways. From whatever. Will we agree they successfully did it by the end of it? I don't know. It's hard to say because like we were talking about at the beginning, some of the shit I thought was a given at the start.
Yeah.
The Darth Vader, like this, I thought this was all going to be the home run. You know what I mean? Like Darth Vader fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi would have been, what can you say? I mean, like that's what
Look,
we were talking about. It's the given.
He ain't a lot of people's cup of tea, and I'm 50-50 on him. But I would say this, like, you're not going to see these kind of compositions from Zack Snyder. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to get something more artistic. And I think artistry can hide a lack of substance. Good artistry can hide problems. And when the artistry is falling, the visual artistry, I'm not talking about all the other shit, is not there. When it's generic, everything else stands out, you know? And I say generic in a very, it's the term we use, generic. What's generic, Rob? Like the image on your backpack at Walmart, it's a generic piece of production art. It's not meant to entice the art books and escape the mind, but we saw concept art from this series during Disney Plus Day. It's in the videos, and like Vader's throne specifically, and I'm just trying to figure out where the disconnect is between the art that is produced sometimes with these shows and the images captured.
Well, I
guess
mean,
it's just preference.
at the end of the day, it's the same artists who do the work on the films, and this just isn't the same as the films. It's
But
just
even
not.
even
Like
with
volume.
those, you look at the Art of Force Awakens book, and the fact that JJ made some of the choices he did, because some of the artwork in that book is phenomenal and absolutely should have been in that movie. But then instead we got Jakku. It's like just poor man's Tatooine. It's like, dude, you had some phenomenal artwork. You could have done something really unique and special and different. Instead, you just, it's another fucking desert.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's certainly not the artists that are fucking this
No.
up.
No,
But
I didn't
somebody's
say
making
that.
bad.
I'm saying
No,
it's-
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
no.
know you guys aren't saying that, but somebody's making some poor choices in terms of what art they're choosing to go with. I mean,
Yeah. Well, no, I
it's
mean it's like when you do stuff with the volume, and then like you have like the prefab kind of like set thing that if they do and shit like that. And I just don't think it actually like necessarily lends itself to dramatic like lighting. They're not like CGIing every shot how they do like on the movies to like, like remember in episode 1, every shot had CGI in it. Like for better or worse, it did. And but like when you watch it today, I think it's actually for better because it's made a lot of that stuff where it kind of has like, oh well, that's at least like very interesting.
yeah.
But I think that's ultimately what it comes down to is that they're just not there's the bag of tricks just doesn't look as good as the movies, and it's making me miss the movies a lot more. Like I will say, like I was a little bit feeling for a while like I don't really care if they make the movies because I'm getting all my stories here. I'm getting my stories on the TV. I'm fine with that. But now I'm missing the movies more, which Charles, thank you for the super chat, dude. I really appreciate the support. It says, are you more excited for the last 3 episodes of Obi-Wan or Ryan Johnson's Star Wars trilogy? And I mean, it's 3 episodes of a TV show versus a trilogy of films. I mean, doesn't really like that's not really I don't think a fair comparison. Yeah, like would you rather go see like 6 hours or not something like that worth of like a new Star Wars story with the trilogy with stuff like that? I would rather see that. And I think and Ryan Johnson, I still feel is the most I think he's the most talented person probably to make a Star Wars movie that they have hired or had make a Star Wars production yet. So I'm always going to be more about the Rian Johnson thing, and Rian Johnson doing original stuff, especially that to me is better.
Looks like Tony Gilroy's giving Rian Johnson a run for his money, though, on that front. 'Cause
Cassian
based off,
looks
yeah,
good.
based off, yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Mm.
Cassian looks really, really good. At the same time, like, fucking, who knows, man? Like we're talking about, like with Star Wars, there just are no givens. Like apparently,
That's true.
Apparently
you know what I
not.
mean? That's like the one thing when you look at like all of this, like things that should just be nothing's free with Star Wars for the creators. Like it's and to a certain extent, I feel bad for them, because if this was easy, if it was easy and everything just worked, because it's like, oh yeah, all you do is you just put Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi and then turn on the lightsabers. It's hey, I'm happy. Turns out you're not.
Well, they got to be careful. If they keep this up, they're going to be Star Trek. I mean, it's they can't keep missing this badly for it to just be nothing special, just your average sci-fi show.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it was it's kind of funny, because when the show was on Tatooine, and in no way do I think it would be compelling if it was all on Tatooine. So that's not what I'm saying, just to be clear. But when it was on Tatooine and it was just this emotional, like, kind of character piece, the whole setup worked. But once they stepped into the movie realm, that's where it doesn't work. Like, that's what's funny, is like you would never want a movie that was just like a real character piece about Obi-Wan Kenobi walking around the desert and stuff like that. Like you expect there to be like, when does that ad show up? You know what I mean, kind of thing. And like, but it's yeah, it might have aimed too high. We'll have to see, but like when we get to like the final duel, how does that all unfold? And do we get there? I mean, or is it just that, but Qui-Gon's now talking to him? And does that cover for it? You know what I mean? So yeah. The Bacta take and outside castle looked great, but the throne room looked cheap. Yeah, that was my take too.
Yeah.
Last time I met you, I was about to learn now I'm the master. He was talking about the Mustafar fight, not the spade up nonsense. Actually, he's talking about the next fight. You need to follow along all the way, dude. All right, Vortex. I'm sorry that you're having a bad time, but don't make us have your bad time. Okay, we don't want to have your bad time. It sounds terrible to be in your head, but maybe go to bed. DC says I was expecting Obi-Wan meeting Vader to be more of a moment, just kind of like it kind of just happened. Vader pulling Obi-Wan through the bed of fire was pretty savage, though. Yeah, it was kind of funny because like we had different sources on that, on the fire. I'm like, one source is like, he just, like, his arm is burned. Another one's like, he is lit on fire, man. Like, he's all on fire. And I was like, you know what? You were both right. You were both right. Tell your sister you were both right. Because I was like, oh, I see what you were both talking about.
He said hello and not hello there, though. So almost Santa. Almost got us.
Hello, Mayor. Sith Soup says Vader could force grab Obi-Wan, but fire between them stops Vader's force. Yeah, like I said, once again, my whole thing is I think maybe Vader didn't walk through it because it would have burned his clothes off and we would see his little burnt titties. I don't know what his problem was, but we have seen a lot of things on Vader. Haven't we seen Vader in fire, or am I just thinking of too many bad t-shirts? Like in comic books, like doesn't he like walk through fire? Like, this costume is fire retardant.
Dave Dorman would paint a lot too.
Yeah, that's right.
Fire explosions and stuff behind him. Yeah.
Those guys that redid the Obi-Wan Vader fight from A New Hope had that, where like the barrel explodes and Vader kind of bursts into flames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to take Vader on his throne and just add fart noises, though. Just gonna throw that out there. Yeah. So Neil says, Neil, Neil, channel member, friend, ally. I was gonna say friend of Captain Solo, but I already said friend. So whatever. You're not Captain Solo's friend now. I think the strength of the show comes through in the performances of the actors. Ewan is fucking great. Like his acting and his delivery of lines is really fucking good. There's nothing lazy about any of that. I suspect that was a higher priority for Ewan after the prequels. In that regard, this show is a success. I think so too. I think for you and like even like all of the stuff in the truck and stuff like that, even that stuff really could have been played like, I can't quote any of it yet because I'm tired, but because it's like 2 a.m. But you know what I mean. His delivery is fucking solid. Was that James Earl Jones? It was. It didn't sound like he did in Rogue One. It sounded AI to me. Nope, wasn't a. Well, supposedly wasn't AI. It didn't sound AI to me at all. But
No.
it just sounded like Darth Vader to me. And they said it was James Earl Jones. People have said that James Earl Jones was sick when he did Rogue One, and so maybe that's what people are hearing. I don't hear it. I personally don't hear it. But Luke Jones says, "Here I am again to bitch about cinematography with Rob. How could the biggest corporation in the world with the biggest franchise in the world not afford amazing cinematography? So confusing." I think that's a fair. Once again, I think that's fair.
I don't think they skimped on the budget, sadly.
And
I don't think it's a budgetary thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. Maybe they're laundering that money. No, I'm joking, but I
Hold
will
on, I
say,
got my piles of cash in the dryer. I gotta get off for a second.
yeah, right.
Disney show.
No, and not trying to be a contrarian, but I am of the mindset that Reva's cool. Fifth Brother sucks. I think that guy is a Power Ranger, man. He looks like a Power Ranger. And he talks like one. And it's like the stuff of him I knew he was like her competitor, but like Darth Vader now thinks I was like, what are we like working in a fucking like boiler room? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, come on, like it doesn't work. The Fifth Brother doesn't work.
Who
For me.
talk to Darth Vader? Like, oh shit, man, are we doing this? We're right back to this.
I have a
Prequels.
bad hernia.
I get people, you're fans of the. Okay, fine. What I mean by prequel-ish isn't maybe what they're thinking. What I'm saying when it comes off corny, I don't like corny. Like I like. There's some funny jokes in the original trilogy. I get. Like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault, right? That's funny. It's over top acting, but it's funny. But when it's we have nothing to report until we have something to report, like that kind of shit, it's like that's the bet, like I don't know. Like, we will not survive this is a good line in the Phantom Menace. But so when I hear like the Fifth Brother acting, I'm like, man, we're right back to this, aren't we?
They should have modulated his voice because it's like he's trying to do somewhere along the lines of what you saw in Rebels, but it's not even close. So it's just like a really bad impersonation. So it's like if they were going to do that, they should have done something to his voice then to try to, because he's like trying to like get this like whispery kind of. It's like just use your regular voice or totally just synth.
Why would I do that?
They should have done all of it in ADR in this.
I feel so verklempt.
Yeah.
It's
like I'm constipated.
Spanky, I think you may be the last true victim of Super Shadow. They actually did fight twice before New Hope. He had leaked treatments online before the prequels were ever released. He was supposed to fight Obi-Wan at the end of the second movie. Yeah, that's not true at all, dude.
You coming at the wrong guy with that info.
And George Lucas didn't write anything for the prequels. That's the actual like comedy of it. He had Return of the Return of the Jedi development. That's what he wrote for the prequels, and that didn't come out until like making a Return of the Jedi that Rensler did. Was the first time we started to see that like truly that stuff. It was very, very heavily guarded. Before that, there were early drafts of like the Star Wars and stuff like that, but there was none of that was was legit. Would have been interesting, but none of it was. And good morning, Timmy. DC says, I think it's being cinematic 2.3 scope aspect ratio clashes with the TV-ish it looks. If they had 16:9 TV aspect ratio, it might just feel less of a mismatch. Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, I
Maybe they
kind
go
of
straight to 4:3.
no, but it does.
You
So
know, a
no
little
Christ.
CRT scan lines,
Yeah.
But,
little chromatic aberration. You know what? Little antenna comes in and out sometimes. I think
Tracking,
that would look
tracking,
pretty good. Yeah,
tracking.
I think it would look better. You know,
There you go.
for just a second, you get porn. For just a second.
Oh,
Right, porn channel comes in.
Spice
Right,
Channel
right when he goes
comes
Mapuzo, and then Mapuzo shows
Mapuzo.
up, and then we're back to the story. You know,
Prickly Puzo. Hell, no. I'm actually kind of. I'm gonna think about this when I watch it next time because I think that might be what I'm thinking. You might have articulated what's kind of going on in my head where it looks cinematic to me and then it just doesn't. If it was just one or the other, I probably would be okay.
Yeah.
I,
Well, a lot
I,
of the Marvel shows were switching back and forth, like in mid-show. Like all of a sudden, it's like,
really.
hey, our ratio change. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's yeah. So they like to fuck with the ratios, Disney. So
Charles says they're saving those lines for 5-6. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's where it all ended up. You know, like obviously, I mean, it does seem like they are trying to make this fight dynamically very quiet, so that the last one is epic because it's the culmination. Will it work? I don't know, but we got 3 weeks. We'll know. Oh, they should have done this episode from Vader's point of view for the most part. I didn't like with Darth Vader, if you will. Yeah, I don't know. Ryoko says, in this case, ideas are just ideas. It always comes down to execution.
bingo.
Sure. Zachary says, I really thought the whole Obi-Wan once taught as you do thing would be Ben's motivation once he found out Anakin was still alive. Yeah, me too. Tilo Mad 92 says, I'm just so hyped for the Quinlan Voss name drop and confirmation he's active and alive rather than just being a little mention and inclusive fate. Yeah, that was like he was supposed to die in Order 66. They had done the animatics for that where he's gonna die on a tank, I think, during Order 66 and get killed. And then Lucas decided to save him for Star Wars Underworld unproduced live action television series, was gonna have him be a character there. But so Lucas said he lived. So in a weird way, they honored what Lucas said. He lived. He's out there. Darren says 9.5 out of 10. I loved it. However, people seem to have a problem why Vader let Kenobi go through the fire just standing there. True Vader could have used the Force to pull Kenobi over the fire to capture him. Yeah, it did it was kind of weird. Like they have I think there's the emotional regulating of Darth Vader is sort of a problem in the episode where you feel like he's really really mad, and then you feel like he's maybe just walking to lunch, like it kind of like like how mad are you, and how do you generate that to guy in a suit who you can't see? I don't know, and neither do they. Is what I will say. Timmy says just finished watching it. Thought it was good. I do thought it was good. I thought I liked the story, but Zachary says I think it's just kind of weird to see Vader sitting down. We don't really see it that much in the original trilogy, except when he's in his TIE fighter, which is mostly just headshots. Yeah.
I see the meditation chamber.
Well,
He's sitting down.
yeah, and you just got to shoot that in a way that.
Yeah, and I need to see it
level.
again, but like when they show him sitting down in like Empire, he doesn't have his cape on. He's
True.
capeless.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has the cape on when he's sitting down. This
The sitting down didn't bother me. It was the standing up that was weird.
showing him stand up.
Yeah, something about like that whole shot just seemed like he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get it." It's just,
Well, it's been quite a day. The old digital back.
yeah. I saw that shot and I was like, oh, that was kind of weird.
You know, Oronauts got to do one of those like takes. You know what? I'm done with this. This scene is bullshit. If fucking Mike falls in the camera when he gets
Oh,
up and
dude,
shit. Little shaky
when
cam.
when he tries to step to a Kenobi at the bonfire, that's gonna be fucking good. That they got that pretty much free.
Yeah.
TK says if the next episode isn't phenomenal, hope it just feels like we're back at midpoint of Boba Fett. We will have to see what happens. Sure. General Grievous is just like I hate Kenobi. He had this coming. Some more General Grievous's hate watching this show right now. Timmy says, "What was the symbol that got Reva's attention in the hut? It was the Jedi symbol. It was like there was the words from Quinlan Boss, and then there was the little Jedi crest." And she saw that and she was like, "Oh, I hate those guys. I hate the Jedi crest." So, yeah. I feel like the editing of the show is the problem. Felt that since episode 1. Yeah, see, like I'm gonna see if I see it now, but I didn't have a problem with the editing in 1. It was like I thought that was all fine, but
Wasn't
we'll
as
see.
bad. The Nari stuff was weird.
Nari was bad, yeah. Nari's
It's 2 a.m. randomly out in the middle of the desert on a giant desert planet filled with the most dangerous shit we've ever seen. What are you doing here? I just found you. I don't know. I just knew you'd be. I okay. All right.
It'd be weird in the
sorry, Nari.
You know, look, if it worked for you, it worked for you. But you
Even
remember
just
that
showing
when
him dying
Avatar
off
2
screen.
comes out. You remember that. You remember when you guys complain. You tell me what's cool.
Oh wait, sorry, I already showed that one. Here it is.
Ryan
Charles says,
Johnson,
thank you, Charles. I appreciate the support, man. Can we trade Ryan Johnson to Star Trek for Justin Lin to Star Wars? I know these deals are complicated and Disney will have to throw in money.
No.
So you're thinking like sports team trades, you know? Maybe
Justin Lin's no Ryan Johnson.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Justin Lin do something Star Wars though.
We're talking a trade. I'm not saying whether he should
trade.
do
Yeah,
Star Wars. Or
yeah. I wouldn't trade him. Even though he gave me $5, I still wouldn't trade him. I clearly
I've
you
yet
want
to
him
see
traded.
Justin make a movie that's as cool as Looper for me. So sorry.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I have a feeling when Ryan Johnson isn't dealing with people that are like, oh, that's my fake space daddy. You know, when that aspect is removed, they probably won't have as many problems with what Ryan Johnson did. But I also like it worked out well for me because I liked the choices that Ryan made, so it was fine for me. Oh, thank you for the $10 super chat, Joseph. I appreciate it. In the wake of how Moses Ingram has been bullied, I am now very worried about how the fandom will respond to what happens to Reva in the finale. Here's the thing, is perhaps with what happened today with Ewan coming out, maybe they'll shut the fuck up about it. But also when we saw the episode tonight, I really like I didn't have any moments in the episode where I was like, oh no, there it is. They got more ammo. Like in some ways, she was the better. I guess that will be the thing that they do. Reva looked great, but Darth Vader did it because they did it all for Reva. They'll probably do that, but maybe. But my point is everything that happened with Reva tonight wasn't a problem. There was truly like I don't think, you know, beyond personal opinion about just some arbitrary shit. There wasn't too many problems with what she was doing. I thought she was fine. I mean, I thought she was, even if not even good. But
maybe this is down on me. Maybe the choice for loose piles of dirt was to keep Obi-Wan from being able to climb it to get to the high ground. Like, you know, oh god, just can't. It's just loose dirt. I can't get any higher. Oh, what am I gonna do? Like, I just like seriously though. Like, there might be some methodology to that. Like, you know, like I'm painting this in an absurd tone. But seriously, if you started trying to get the high ground right there,
He should have said when he was getting choked and held in the air, he should have been like, "I have the high ground."
Yeah. Come at me, motherfucker! I'm up here. You're down there. Yeah. But
have you ever
Yeah.
heard of the tale of Darth Plagueis, the little bitch, little bitch who couldn't?
was
What
one of
did
the
you
best-
say?
That was one of the best things someone ever did is when Vader's choking the captain on the Tantive in New Hope, and someone edited over where he's like, "I have the high ground." And Vader throws him. He's like, "Oh, fuck you! Did Obi-Wan tell everybody in the galaxy about that bullshit?"
Okay. What if also Reva comes back and the Grand Inquisitor got out of the hospital? That's another reason just throwing it out there. But thank you, Joseph, once again for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. Baymax says the editing of Obi-Wan moving through the gravel pits being pursued by Vader just got odd. There seemed to be a cohesive flow or understanding of the geography. One scene, move away, another, etc. Pursuit. Yeah. That kind of was strange to me too. Started to wonder if there was things were missing. Like I have to watch it again because I was just more felt like what's going on, you know, and I kind of couldn't tell when we were supposed to be confused by like what was happening and when it was just confusing. There is a difference, I think. So like when you watch it again, like you'll be able to see like, oh, is there logic to this or not? And if I can't figure it out, if this dummy can't figure it out, then it wasn't done well. I will say. Well, the Phantom Menace bemoan that Reva was done dirty. Yeah, that's how they'll flip it and they'll be like, oh, see, told you we were on Reva's side the whole time. It was you guys who did Reva dirty. Chilean Airways, I always call you Chilean Airways. That's your name. Sorry. I wonder if the reason for clunky slow action scenes is the volume. Maybe it doesn't have much room to do convincing chase scenes. That was one of the things that we had, that we had heard before was it worked well for the Western stuff, but it wasn't going to work well for anything really super fast paced. But I don't know because I still feel like
outside in Alderaan, it was not in the volume. Those are real trees.
Yeah. Well, he's like but I think he's talking about like I mean, okay, I thought he was talking about Darth Vader, but maybe he's not. Yeah. Finale Reva will come back with Grand Inquisitor will be by Vader's side. Curtains for you, Reva. I think that's where that's going to. I fear for my Reylo buddies. Didn't they?
Okay.
Oh, okay. As the truth says, they're hating Ewan now.
I feel like that scene where Eddie Valiant takes the street, rips it up, and just throws it in the wall, and they go head first, and like right.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like I just what? I hear you. I just don't know where did. Are you watching Are you sure you're not watching another channel while you're typing in?
They're hitting Ewan now.
don't know
Ewan
what
the
that
shill. Ewan isn't Obi-Wan. Alec is. Ewan has been irrelevant and is a cheater. Meg says, great episode, but can we just admit they need to improve their camera angles and cinematography? 100% Meg. We are the fact. I'm going to assume you haven't been watching the show and you watched the episode and then you just came in and said that. And I think we're all on the same page here, But I will say, Ewan is a shill. Pay me. Ewan, Moses Ingram, whatever. Pay me. Kathleen Kennedy fired. Pay me. Kathleen Kennedy has dirt on Bob paycheck. Pay me. It doesn't work. I don't know. They got magic. They have a finesse to it that I just don't have. Mando trailer looks cinematic. It did. Zach says, "Where is O'Shea's character and what character is he? He's Roken, and I think he's coming after. He either comes at the end now. Either he comes at the end of the 4th episode, or he comes at the beginning of the 5th episode. But the one thing that I want to say too is like looking at it now that I've done a little bit of reorganization. Characters kind of come in and then they're kind of Like there's not like a lot of follow through. He encounters these people. At least that's what I'm thinking now. Tio says, or Tillo, Mad 1992 says, that's the thing. They had to find a way to take out Grand Inquisitor. That they achieved it and had a possibility of having a cool moment at the end of the series. Game Pro says, don't like how slim the Vader suit looks in live action. Yeah, it is a different. I really don't think the guy playing Darth Vader is a problem. I really don't. Like when you there's 3 people in that suit. And I don't really think any of them are the problem. I think it's the way that if the people in the suit are being shot, it's not noticing that the belt looks really loose when you shoot it from this one, like that kind of shit. And that kind of stuff matters. And what's kind of weird is that there are people that know how to do this, and there are people who know the stuff really well. Why aren't they a part of it?
Yeah, don't shoot a close up of Vader's cape dragging across the ground, or it was just poorly shot.
Yeah, Vader snapping necks was great. The way it was not woven into the motivations of the moment, that's where I'm critical of it. But like I said, on one hand, like seeing it, not it's fun. Darth Vader, he's bad, sucks. Like, got that. But the not taking that second, like it was like, whoa, that's a cool moment, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna write that shit down. Yeah, that's cool, dude. Write that down. Like that's what happened, but they didn't go like, oh yeah, dude, you need to do that. You need to make it work. That's like so what he's doing. Yeah, and then they're like, what'd you say? Nothing. I think that's how it happened. That's all I can think of. That's my take. It was the middle of the pandemic. Everybody's going a little too high, and they just forgot. But I like castles. I like turtles. Try to have fun either way. Yeah, I mean, like ultimately too, like being highly critical right now. I had fun, but I will say, my 8-year-old boy stayed up, was sleeping. It's like, hey, you gonna watch it? He's like, yeah. It's like last day of school tomorrow. So it's like, doesn't really matter if he's tired. It's like, he'd be tired last day of school. Nobody gives a shit. He didn't do anything. And he didn't like it. He didn't hate it, but he was like, it was a little bit boring. And so like when the 8-year-old, Darth Vader and Obi-Wan are fighting again, and kind of thinks that one's boring. Yeah. It was kind of funny too. I don't know if I said this on camera. I don't remember now. But when we're like, whoa, Obi-Wan has a brother. And like, she's like, who cares? she like it has like big story implications. And she's like, yeah, whatever, man.
I got a brother. So what?
Yeah.
Damn.
I know. Today I was like driving the car. They weren't talking about anything really that serious, but all I hear from my son, it was like really sweet. He's like, "'Cause you're my sister and I love you." I was like, man, that sounds dramatic, but it was really about nothing at all. But then cut to a few hours later and she's like, yeah, he's a brother, so what? They're shit. That was pretty much her point. The fight was filmed like Luke versus Vader in the tree in ESB. It was more of a trip scene. I loved it. Yeah, it was like I said, I on one hand, like I really like that. I like the idea of it more than what they like did with it. Like Obi-Wan being afraid of Darth Vader, like that. Like that's that's one of the whole things that they're always talking about, and with the Jedi stuff is controlling your fear and stuff like that. He's not doing it. He's literally panicking and running and stuff. And like, and on one hand, you do have these people that are always like, I want Obi-Wan Kenobi to have all this post-traumatic stress. Like that's what I want him to have. Well, that's kind of what you're getting there. You were getting a guy who's been going through that, and then so on one hand, I was like, if you don't like it, well, then there you go. But consistency is key here, and that is very consistent with it, I think, with where he's at. But my thing is when he becomes Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan at the end of this, so to speak, like that transformation has to really work. It has to like really, really work well. And if it does, it's all fine. I think it'll all be fine. But if it doesn't, if the story doesn't really convince me, Ewan's convincing me with his acting. Like the acting is good, but
So you're saying Obi-Wan is basically Ricky Bobby?
yes, this is Ricky Bobby's like I don't know what to do with my hands, my lightsaber. Yeah,
I can't walk.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, dude. But yeah, but it does have it does have a bit of that vibe to it though, Grogu. Roberta Blue says, so Vader doesn't know how to parkour to pass that fire. I know. Well, that was the other thing was like when they were filming the fight, maybe it's in the end, but like they were filming Vader doing like flips and shit. And like this was not there. Obviously it's like wire work. But this was not there. So
that's one thing I'll give the prequels a lot of credit on, because like you could see the wire work in the sequel trilogy, and you can see the wire work when she was doing her parkour thing, and it looks hokey.
yeah.
I'm not a fan of the wire work. It always looks like wire work, and it's bad.
Station 9 is all, bro. Vader is burnhead to tell you really think he wants anything to do with flames. He literally lives on a castle on a flaming lake. I think he's okay with it, to be honest. I'm not gonna on that one. I gotta say, I can go with some level of making it work for you. On that one, that not buying that one. Like I said, flaming castle. Disinferno says Vader only let Obi-Wan go because he was critically dissatisfied with his desired revenge. Maybe, yeah, maybe he was confused by this, decided to give Obi-Wan another chance to give him the real battle he craved.
Glad.
Fair enough. On that one, I'll take that one.
Cut to the scene. He just sits there staring. Yeah, I got all that too. Yeah. That's what the scene said. You got me.
Ben says, "Hey guys,
it's
for
literally,
me,
what is that thing Lucas talked about where you just stare at an image and you project onto it?"
Yeah,
that's what you're getting right there.
Yeah. Ben says, "Hey guys, I love the episode. It was exactly what I was expecting from both Kenobi and Vader. I thought the editing and music was kind of shaky, but overall it was good. 9 out of 10. So, you guys are really, really kind with your ratings, or you're very mean with your ratings. I'm just saying, but fair enough. It's your rating." Boba Fett said, "Hello, I'm deaf." I said, "What do you think, episode 3?" Okay. I liked it. I mean, I liked it. I liked it, but I thought it looked kind of cheap. Liked it.
Are you supposed to type that out?
Charles says, "Jason, your idea sucks. What if the random woman was stealing DVD players in the Star Wars universe and saved Ben?" Yeah, I liked Reva.
You got me there.
But they take too much.
Hold on. She works at Book Off. Yeah. She's looking for used DVDs. All right. She goes to the hillbilly town where she knows they still collect physical media. Yeah. And then she saves Ben from Vader. Makes sense. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure Tika works at Book Off. That feels right.
Maybe, Jason, all that dirt was for filling up the plot holes. Right? Like maybe.
Oh.
What?
That was a level of, that was the Uncle Owen level burn to the show right there. I gotta give you that one.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Starlight, Starbright.
What was with Reva suddenly showing up at the end of the tunnel? So on that one, me and Rob were talking about that one, and I got to check it because like I could be wrong, but I was under the impression that Tala turned around and left before Reva discovered the tunnel. But am I wrong?
But then Reva appears in front of Leia, who just kept moving forward.
Yeah,
is the question. So Reva's behind them coming in.
Yeah,
Leia's always moving forward. How does Reva get?
So then the question becomes: did Reva discover the tunnel that side that they came in, or did she discover the other side of the tunnel? No, she did because she already killed the guys.
Yeah.
She already
Yeah.
killed the guys who were in there. So she had to have come from a different entrance. So it's
Again,
like
the editing
left and
is
right. She must have come, but I'll have to look at it. Being more cognizant of this, I'll have to look at it again and see. It could be a mistake, but it
you
also
can explain it away, but the editing is poor.
mhm,
You don't know.
mm,
It's very unclear.
yeah. We'll see.
Mm.
We'll see. We'll see. We're gonna get you, editor. We're looking at your work. No, I'm kidding. Zachary Sean says Deborah Chow's Mando episodes are awesome. So I'm not sure what's going on with the drop in quality here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I found it yeah, I found it kind of weird that they that like even with him being scared, I don't think like him being scared makes it look cheap. Is the important like thing to note. And he looked scared, but it did look cheap. Honestly, I'm just gonna I think I'll just say it. I don't think Deborah Chow knows how to shoot Darth Vader. At the end of the day, I really can't think of there wasn't really a great Darth Vader shot, was there? I'm gonna have to look for it. I'm gonna try not to be unfair. So when I watch it again, I'm gonna try to see, did I see a good Darth Vader shot? Because I don't think I did. And I didn't, and I don't know if I think it looked cool when when you had like the Darth Vader mask in front of the fire, and it was like lit by the fire. I thought that almost should have been a CGI shot because it didn't look that cool. It was supposed to look cool. They were like, "That's gonna look trippy, bro," but it didn't. But I'll have to check it out. I'll check it out again. I don't mind watching it again. Baymax says she must have found records of where the tunnel led to the Jedi archives. We got our second James of the night, along with our old Carbonite James. Oh, Carbonite James had to go to bed. So, Baymax says if I had a peek on the theory stream, they're discussing if Mace Windu is indeed inside the Ned B suit. They're joking, right? It's joking, right?
I think I hear something really stupid. They just top it.
If they're joking, they're
Yeah.
hilarious though. If they're joking, it's
Yeah.
that's funny. Little did I know, but they're mad at Ewan since Birds of Prey apparently for going woke and defending the film or something. Okay. Well, there we go. Birds of Prey. Gotta run 5:30 a.m. here. Good night, guys. Good night. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it a night. I mean, it's like we've done 2 hours on this now, but I feel like I do feel like I came off a little bit more negative than I feel about it because I am like excited to go watch it again right now, which says something. He's not joking. Are they joking? No, Baymax is the question. Are they joking, or are they being really serious? Because if they're being serious, they will clearly just say and do anything for super chat money at that point. Who else could be in there though, guys? Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. Yoda's not on Dagobah. He actually has an apartment with Yaddle, and they are standing on each other's shoulders inside the Ned B costume. And then they go back to their apartment, jump out, live their normal life, get back into the Ned B costume. That seems possible. Zek says, I don't know if there's a writing problem, but I was worried when they hired the Joby guy to write the most important Star Wars show to me. Yeah, I personally like the story and where it's going and stuff. So
yeah, writing's not the problem here.
Yeah. But I will say the writing's not the problem, but there are points where a lack of writing seems to be a problem. Lack of writing with the lines between Vader and that. Lack of maybe like writing things that Leia should be doing when she's running in those scenes, like all stuff like that. But in this episode when Leia ran, I just found it to be cute, and I did not think it was like it didn't linger poorly. It was like, oh, there you go, you fucking did it. You had to run, right? But so weird. But also, I don't know. I can't think of another show where I would ever consider thinking about how somebody was running, but the Star Wars that you do. because you hang on every detail. Nick says, fantastic after show. Nice to see James return. James is back.
Yeah, it'd be nice to. I was hoping to be positive on this show. I
Yeah.
was hoping I was really gonna like Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I mean,
I don't
like,
want to be
first
that
time,
guy,
huh, James?
you know. I don't.
yeah,
First
no,
time,
I'm really a positive person. You know, it's just,
yeah.
it's
No,
not getting anything to work with you. You know, come on.
Before we started, that's what Rob was saying, and you know, and like Rob wasn't a prequel guy, you're a prequel guy, and you guys are both agreeing. So I think that definitely means something or says something about it. And then like I am probably willing to go with a lot of the stuff because I just like there were moments that I liked, but like for instance, like somebody in the chat, which I know where they're coming from. I don't even disagree necessarily. But they're like Vader having a brother and Quinlan Voss are like most important part, and it's like no, those made me super excited too. But really, did those serve this? Did they truly serve the story? I guess the connective tissue of Obi-Wan going like, you know, I know I know where you're coming from. Like I had family too. Like that kind of part, like is kind of important. But other than that, like we're excited because what it means more. We're like we're little Veruca salts. More, you know, about we want our Star Wars now. We want more. But really fun discussion. Thanks for staying grounded without being toxic. Great show tonight. Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say was like, you know, I appreciate that both of you are always honest with your opinions. And but seriously, guys, who's inside Ned B right now? Who's inside of him? Who is it?
It's like they saw the Ninth Jedi and they're like, I know. That's what I'm going to do now. Anytime there's a robot or a piece of armor, I'm going to go and say there's a hidden... Wow.
Begun the Clone War has. Ned B was cool. They're making a Kenner's A-style retro collection figure of him. Must be in more episodes. Yeah, because that's why I thought Ned B was I thought he was Roken's guy. And so I'm gonna assume he carries them off and then ends up as part of the entourage. But yeah. But anyways, but we've done our 2 hours. So I'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna watch it again. Back tomorrow, talk about it. It'd be a good time. And James, as always, you're out whenever you're free, man. Just send me the things, send the invite, and I will. Cool. And tomorrow, I'm gonna watch it again. Have my thoughts collected, not be tired because it's 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Go over it. I think Chris will be on, and Max. I was hoping Max was going to be on tonight, but I think Max had internet issues. Yeah. So, but yeah, and I hope everybody had a good time, and you know, try and stay positive. Try and focus on what you like, and but you know, if it wasn't your cup of tea, you know, let it go. You don't have to go rage on the internet and make people have a bad time. Nobody wants to hang out.
Good time. Listen said I can't do that.
All right. Here's all right. All right. Here's what I'll say.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Because the show's over. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Thanks, guys.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.